Is it screen visible, Philly?
Yes.
Hey, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and people who are joined across all the globe. So we today we are going to tell about what is ChatGPT, and like interesting part is like how we can be develop custom connector like within the Mule, and one use case will showcase in the last part like the integrating, because as we are developing a connector we need to have some use case, right? So we'll develop like integrating the Slack and all those things. So yeah, so today's agenda is like we'll see what is OpenAI and what is ChatGPT, what we are trying to develop and Slack use case. And this is our meetup leaders, San Francisco meetup leaders, Philly, Okandis, and Priyanka, Rajesh, and Fatima. So this is our organizers, today's organizers. And I'm going to like tell safe harbor statement. Both the speaker and host are organizing the meetup in individual capacity only. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for learning purpose. Organizer presenter don't hold any responsibility that same solution will work for your business requirement also. This presentation is meant for only is not for only is not meant for any promotional activities. So this meeting will be recorded and this is for learning purpose. Yeah, today myself, I'm Sai Krishna. I'm currently working as senior software engineer at Convergiva, and I was a certified integration architect and MuleSoft member. Yeah, that's all about me. So today's topic, we will divide into the three parts. First, in like we'll see what is ChatGPT and OpenAI API and all those things. Then second part will cover how to build our own custom XML SDK connector. So we are developing with XML SDK. So it's your choice. You can go with Java SDK or XML SDK. I'll showcase the steps how to develop and how to do the operations. We can do it. And yes, today's topic ChatGPT. So everyone was interested, and every technology is looking forward the ChatGPT. So what is ChatGPT? And so ChatGPT is developed by OpenAI. So it is a natural language processing model developed by with the neural network architecture. So it is basically trained with a lot of data available in the internet. So it is like trained with some artificial intelligence technologies. So we'll see what is the things there in all those things. So it that's what like training data. So it is already done with the some of that data that is available in the internet. So they use some techniques to train the AI to like it will act as a like prompt how human interact with people to people. So this is a sibling of previously it's like instructor GPT. So from that it is developer. It is a sibling product of instructor GPT. Earlier it's to instruct-led artificial intelligence. So OpenAI. So luckily, so OpenAI has given our APIs. So we are really interested for the APIs world because we live in the API world. So we are more interested on the how APIs we can be take it and you can use in our business use case and all those things. So these are the some overviews of OpenAI models. So model will see what in detail what are the things. So as we know, there come with. So what are the things currently we are using is ChatGPT 3 model. So latest last 10 days or 1 week back they have released the ChatGPT 4. So these are the models that is available by OpenAI. Whisper, this will be a deal with some audios. So if you give some audio and it will transcript like if you it will convert audio into the text models. Embeddings, it will be we'll discuss what is embeddings and all. Codex is the model we'll use for the coding. So you give some instruction and it will generate the code, JavaScript, all the PHP, the all the some model code languages they are built it. So that are the language you can develop with it. Codex. So moderation GPT-3, and currently we are using ChatGPT 3.5, and uh, you can upgrade with the ChatGPT 4 with our subscription model. So as you know, ChatGPT 4 latestly released. So what we're using ChatGPT is like text format. So you need to give input prompt as a text, but ChatGPT 4 come up with multi-mode operation. Like you can give audios, videos, text, and it will give you the response. So as of now, it is not supported ChatGPT 3. So these are the so tokens. I will discuss what is tokens and all those things. So because as we work with the APIs, so you need to know what is token. So everything is depend on the tokens. So as we discussed, it's a multi-mode model, ChatGPT 4. So and what we need to know is like what are the data you are fetching based on the model. So this is the up to the date they will release. They're giving the data. So what are the things you are seeing in ChatGPT 3? It is not up to date data. So because they are already trained with the data which is already saved in. So ChatGPT 3, we are using ChatGPT 3. So you will get the data. It is the latest from September to 2021. So you won't get the now as of now today's date. So that's why they are releasing the beta versions to test it. Maybe in the future they will release the maybe ChatGPT 4. They will come up with the latest data you can able to see. Currently we are using all beta versions. So this is all see this is all model, and that their date up to date, what are the data date they are giving the data. So we are using mostly in our UI interface, we are using chart sheet 3.4 turbo. So now what you are seeing, able to see the data, you get the data till September 2021. So you won't get the latest after the latest data. If you ask it, it won't able to give. So there are different models. If you want it you can test this models with the comparison tool. So you can able to check it. So I'll show it how to do it. So I'll paste in the chart, you can able to take it. So if you want to see what is the performance of chat gpt 3 and chat gpt 4, you can select these models and all, and it will download the some excel file. It will tell you what how the performance and all, because these are different models they're giving as a maybe in future they will give as a subscription models in chat gpt 4 in higher versions. So you can able to test it all those things here in the comparison tool. You give input, select the model, it will give output, and it will give the on a downloaded excel file. It will tell how is the performance as per your data you're asking. So you can check this one. Like if you want to work with the ChatGPT model, so that is the thing. Performance is the main criteria. So and this is the one of the important link. You can able to see the latest releases that is going in the ChatGPT. So what is the latest updates you are getting in the ChatGPT? So you are able to get it this link. So can daily you can check it what is happening around the ChatGPT. So you can able to see, you can take the all the up to date release notes. Codex, as we discussed, codex model are using for the to write the code. So these are the languages that is supporting. So now you are using in the UI screen. So codex is the model they are like integrated in the backend. So this is the model codex. So these are the languages supported by codex model: JavaScript, Copilot, BHP, and these are the models. And they're using the codex Devancy 002 as of now in ChatGPT 3.5, and maybe they're upgrading it different model in ChatGPT 4. So backend, this is the model they're pointing it to train the code. So how they're getting the like code? So their train data contains billions of code from the GitHub. So they save some GitHub code, and from there it's taking. Now the thing is like how we need to integrate all the APIs. So they're already given the APIs. So I'll give the link to like if you go over like APIs, Open API API portal, you'll able to see. So first thing is like you should have key. So in our portal, if you go in the view APIs keys. So if there is no API keys already you generated, you can generate it and keep it somewhere in Notepad plus plus, because once you save it you cannot able to see it. So or you can want to delete it, and you need to generate one more API key. This is the key. You can use it to interact the APIs. What is the APIs they're published? What is the current we are using in the US thing? And if you want to do with the API stuff, so this is the primary thing. uh, these are the models. These are the endpoints they are giving in the API. So we'll discuss which endpoint, which operation it is going to do. So because based on that we'll develop the connector. So if you understand what is API, what is the API endpoint, what is it is doing, and what is the input parameters we need to send it. So based on that, we can develop the connectors and all those things. So parameters. So every API model is the primary thing. So based on the model, you can able, because model is basically it is like a model. Based on that it is pointing to the that model, and you will get the fetching that data based on the training data that is already there with correlating with that model. So create prompt is like you ask something, like from the what you are currently using from the web application. So you ask something. Prompt is basically your input need to pass. These are the input parameters that is given in the API. Temperature, this is optional. Basically temperature is like you need to mention some 0 to 1 like that. So if you give some 0.8, makes the output more random. If you give some small values, so it will give like much more, because it will take lot of processing backend to get your actual accurate data. So basically this is optional field. If you want to get minimalistic like deterministic value that you are trying to get, you can mention this parameter and pass the small value. You'll get, it will take time because it is all about the performance. So if you want some bigger value, it will give random data. Tokens, I'll discuss what is tokens and all, because every this OpenAI model is totally developed by tokens. So token model. So I'll show what is token and all. So token is basically, now you see that our capacity is completed, and we are using some limited, ever limited is completed of all the, like you know, to go for your subscription. So these are the prompts you are getting. So what is the meaning is like you are using the data from the chat GPT based on your token. So token is basically, so if you pass something, so it is giving based on the token model. So what are the data you are fetching from the chat GPT? It is all calculated by tokens. So that's why they're in chat GPT subscription model based on the tokens. So how much tokens you need to, that means how much data you are fetching from chat GPT. That is the plan they're giving in the subscription. If you buy more tokens, you can use more you can use the chat GPT to fetch the more data. So tokens is basically, see, this is the uh, you this is a link, you can try it to understand what is token and all those things. So token is basically, it will calculate the text and words based on the relation between the tokens and statistical relation between the words, and it will calculate the token. So if you see here, this is 11 characters, so it will calculate the 5. So that means the data which is coming from the chat GPT, so it will calculate back in the tokens. So that's why your free versions will complete if you are using more tokens from the your app, your uh, any questions you can ask it in the chat. So I'll give some gap, and we'll take some discussion. So let it be a interactive session, because this topic what I have developed, the connectors and all, this is all my interest. I have done something. If you have any ideas, you can like feel free to discuss. So this is all for the learning purpose. So that's all tokens. So ChatGPT, Chat completion is basically, so so this is like a boot. So whenever you are integrating, like whenever you are seeing in the UI application, currently we are using in the user interface. So this is all about the chat GPT endpoint. So this is the endpoint we are currently using. So chat completion, because it will run as a thread. So thread means you ask first question, so somewhat 2 3 questions you ask it, and fourth question you ask related to the first question. It will able to get the it will understand the uh, what you are the conversation is going on. And because it won't save the data, so like we need to iterate the thread means that records like what are the conversation is going, you need to in the loop we need to send it. So that's the endpoint. We'll see in the API how it will work. So chart completion, that's why you are doing some conversation here. uh, you ask something and you will able to get the data from the first question you are asking. So it will be in the chart conversation. So chart completion is like, so how our boot will works. So this is more about the single communication. You ask something, you will give it. So if you ask 3 4 questions, you ask first question, this API endpoint won't give. This is the API endpoint, it will give, or it will act as a thread. So until unless you stop the thread, so it will be in the conversation mode. So that is all. There is a 3 modes: system, user, and assistant. So we'll see in the connector wise. So embeddings is basically it will use in the machine learning technology. So basically this concept will be used in the machine learnings, where let's example you have Amazon. So how the Amazon is giving the reviews, we have a reviews how they are giving the star rating 1 2 3 4. So they will, this is a somewhat tricky concept. Like embeddings is basically it will convert the words, like what are the text you are giving in the vector floating point. So based on that, some internal machine learnings they will able to like these are the techniques that you can develop using embedding search. So if you can want to search lot of data, if you want to correlate the single search, this is the techniques we need to use. So it will basically convert the text into the vector floating point. So this technique will use in the machine learning. So this endpoint will more focus on the machine learning techniques. So we should if you are interested for the machine learning concepts, you need to focus the embeddings. So embeddings models, so you'll understand more about what is embedding. So vector formats of text into the numbers and all. It will be internally some mathematical calculations will be taken care with the embeddings. So here comes our part, connector operation. So I'll showcase the connector, how we need to develop. So basically this is the API endpoint, the API reference. So here there is a list of operations. This is already given. So you need to understand first of all, before building the connector, you should understand the how the APIs is working and which parameters we need to pass and which is the security there is in. So based on that, I have developed the connector. So in our connector, I'll publish in the, I have already published in the GitHub. So maybe after this and the end of the session, I'll share the my GitHub code URLs. You can take it and you can work around the your own way, your own ideas and all those things. So chart completion, chart completion prompt. So what we are discussing: edits, images, embeddings, moderation, retrieve model. These are the endpoints we have developed in our custom connector. So these are the APIs reference. They are given in the API documentation. Basically we are using these APIs in our user interface, but we are more interested on the API world. So that's why we will focus on the API terminology. So these are some info about, so which model, these are the endpoints they are giving. So which endpoint is using which model, basically this is the model. Based on the model, it will train the data and will fetch it from their data which is already linked with that model, a model. So these are the models. So if you want to use this model, this endpoints, you need to explicitly pass this data models. If you pass other data models, it won't work. So this endpoint unable to find the different models. So there is already predefined models that is linked with this endpoint. So like which operation you are going to do, you need to pass that data model. So I'll showcase the connector. Now comes, this is all, so some brief introduction about ChatGPT API endpoints, and what is the things they are doing. So now the thing is like, we need to develop our custom connector. So there is a two flavors available in MuleSoft. First one is XML SDK, and second one is Java SDK. So it's your up, is it's not like you need to follow XML SDK or it's Java SDK. It's your up, is your choice. You can go with any of the model. I've seen both of the things, but I was interested in XML SDK because it will be straight, easy way, and it's not like that. Java SDK is also easy. You need to check it that documentation is already there in the MuleSoft documentation. Here in this session, I'll focus more on the XML SDK. So first step, we need to go to in, like if you want to do the any of the XML SDK, not ChatGPT. If you are interested to develop any of the custom XML SDK connector, first step is like, you need to add, this is already given by MuleSoft. This is not any customization profile. This is already given by the MuleSoft official documentation. This profile need to be added in our settings.xml. So in your settings.xml, you need to add it. So in the under the settings.xml, you need to add this profile section. So this is the profile. This is the first thing. Once you added this settings.xml, I will share in the chart, otherwise I'll forget it. So connector documentation. So this is the first thing. This is the profile you need to add it. First step is like profile. So you need to add your profile section in your settings.xml. So next step is like, there is one question I saw. So what does parameter and do? And basically it will do like how many number of prompts you need to get. Like you are asking like what is the temperature of San Francisco. So it will try to, if you based on your parameter number, so it will fetch that many number of prompts. So it based on your parameter, it will give the prompts. So that is basically optional parameter. But if you want more outputs, more conversation, you need to pass the parameter. Got it? Are we? Okay. Mm, that's an optional parameter, but if you want it, you can. If you want more data, you can pass n equal to some 3. It will give the long data. But the important thing is like, when you are passing parameter, make sure your tokens, because if you pass n number value, more number of n prompts you want to get it, your tokens will consume. So if you have less tokens or in our package, that is a parameter you need to check it. So because it's interlinked, tokens and your prompt data. So make sure like when you're using, like not now in free, in when you are in the real time, like licensed subscription will come in future. So that is the parameter we need to see, like in the future models. So because all things is based on the tokens. So if you are consuming more data, means based on your n, your tokens is also will consume. So based on the subscription plans. Okay. So next thing is like, once you add it in our profile section, you need to run this command in your wherever folder you required. You can paste it, and like this is basically you are downloading the template of XML SDK from the Mule repo. So you first you add the profile section, and you will able to, you need to pass it, and you need to say this is basically archetype, and so group ID from MuleSoft repo. You are like Mule repo organization, we are taking it, that template, basically the SDK template we need to download, and from after downloading you need to work around your own customization. So version, so this is all already saved content. So group id is basically you need to give your own group id, and artifact id is basically you can, these things you can make it customization, like your own custom names you can give, but don't change this name. So this is already say, you need not, you should not change, because you are downloading the template from your mule repo. So I'll download it somewhere. So wherever you require you can download it in your folders. So just I am downloading some connector. So you type cmd. This is the second step after you add profile, like you need to add. So it will able to download. So it will take some time, it will ask some questions. So why? So download. So this template will be downloaded. This is like basic template they will give it, like for xml sdk. This is the basic uh, template that it will give. So this is all, we'll see what is the things there. So I'll explain what are the things: module, operations, input parameters, body, and how to export the xml sdk, like what are the connector you build. You need to export to your exchange, in your organization exchange, because if you build it in your local, so that will be available for your within the within your local environment. So you need to export to exchange. So once you do it exchange, so within the organization, any people can able to download the connector. So I'll explain how to like export that connector what you are trying to build to your organization. So there need to be added some plugins. So basically any SDK XML SDK have, these are the parameters. Module basically, it is a root element. So there is a operations, input parameters, like what are the fields you are passing, like input data, like you have a HTTP requester. So you are passing host name and port number and all those things. These are the input parameters. The declaration should be there in the input parameters. Body is actually, you are trying to do actual logic. So body is the thing you need to do, you need to add your logic. So, and one more thing, XML SDK cannot be taken input listeners. So because this is some logic, and before that, what is what is like connectors? What is the connectors we are using? So in which cases we need to develop connectors, custom connectors? In which scenarios? So if you observe it, MuleSoft use of connectors. So basically connector is basically invoking of the external system. So any of the system like Salesforce, SAP, any of the system, basically connector job is like what are the connectors we are using in mule world. So the connector job is like it should invoke the external system. So there comes the connector. So it will reduce all the like connectivity code and all those things. So it will give as a simply one connector. So you need any connector, it will basically invoking, it will not do any conversions. Conversion is not required, like connectors. So connectors is basically you required whenever there is a use case to develop with our external system or any law, connectors and all, like normal data use conversions and nothing, you can directly paste our data view code, it's not required. So that's the basically use case is like you need to invoke the external system, any xml sdk connect, any connectors what you are trying to see or what you are trying to build. So these are the parameters. So there is some attributes there in SDK. So we will focus more on the here, not in the slides, because slides is will get bored. So first thing is like import. So you can import anyways. You can import any point studio from project file system, is it's your choice. So anything is fine. So basically when what are the connectors you invoke in your local, so those connectors need to be invoked first. So that's like template. So already template from one repo. So that template you need to first invoke in our anypoint studio. So this is basically the folder structure will look like src main, it won't have any mule flows. So, and one more thing, it's purely XML code you need to write. It will won't get any flows or any connectors you cannot invoke. So, but we can do the connectors by XML. I'll show it how. So this is the template actually. This is a sample template what we have downloaded from the mule repo. So operation is basically, as we discussed, let's take you a ramel like API. So in API you have four endpoints, like if I tell some calculator, addition, multiplication, subtraction, division. So in one connector you can build multiple operation usually like modules. So you see any file connector, you add it in our connector, in our studio, will read file, write file, and all those things. So basically that each thing is like one operation, that module, complete module. So in connector you can add multiple modules also. So basically it will divide as a module level, as a separate functional level endpoint. It will be break it. So operation is basically, so operation, inside operation there will be body parameter. Body is basically actual logic you are trying to do it. So I have already developed, so I'll showcase. So I'll explain based on showing this connector. So what we are trying to do. So basically, am my voice is audible? Fine, right? Is it screen is visible? Is my screen is visible?
Yeah, we see the screen, but we see the browser.
Okay, fine. Sorry. I'll stop it and I'll share.
Okay, okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll explain from the what are the things. Now is it fine, right? My studio is able to see that.
Yeah, now we see studio.
Yeah, sorry. I was sorry for that. So what I'll done, I'll show quickly, just 2 minutes. So first thing, this is simple, like what I have shown, I'll tell. So first thing, any connector if you want to build it, first thing you need to add this profile section. This is my profile section. So this profile section, I've already pasted in the chart. So this profile you need to add in your settings.xml. So in users, so in settings.xml, this profile need to be added. So somewhere in settings.xml, you copy paste this profile, is pasted in settings.xml, and you use this command. So this thing also I'll paste it in the chart. So basically what we are trying to do is like, we are downloading from the maven mule repo. So organization mule dot artifact id, this is mule artifact id version and archetype version, and you use your organization id, artifact id, and your own custom names, what we are trying to develop, your connector names and all. Copy this one and don't change your this mule organization or group ids and everything. You can change your own group ids and everything. Copy, and wherever you folder you require, you can download it. So it's your choice. So basically what we are trying to do is like, we are downloading the template. So uh, that sample template, you enter this command. So if you are added profile perfectly, so that's what I pasted in the, you can don't change any values from that profile. You just copy paste in the settings.xml, because if you change it, you'll get lot of errors. So you are unable to download the template, sample template. What we are trying to do is like, we are downloading the sample template here. So enter. So it will download the basically the connector template. So this is the connector. I was already imported, but I'll show it one more time. So you need to import this connector by you can add it, you can import anyways from folder archive or this one. So once you add it, that template, so I've already added, so that's why it is giving a duplicate. So once you add this project, you need to import to your studio. So once you add it, okay, I'll delete it. So I'll import it. So basically, once you import, you'll able to see all the parameters, everything you're able to see. So I'll add it. These are the parameters. So this is the root structure, and you won't find any of the connectors, anything. You need to purely write, implement our pure XML format you need to develop. So basically, this is the operation what I have told previous 10 minutes back. So operation is basically your module. So you have a file connector, you have read, write, and all those in modules. So you can add a number of operations. So if it will split it into the different, like if you have a requester, so if you want to make it different modules, you can add it. So module operation is basically what is the operation, like for it is doing the module is doing the functionality like read, write, and all those things. And body is like you'll do actual implementation of the logic. So let's go back to our chart GPT connector, and I'll explain based on the connector what we have developed, and the code I'll correlate it. So this is the connector. So so basically, so our operation starts here. So property is basically global property. If you want to add any global property, you need to add it here. So, and one more thing, first thing is like, because we are invoking the REST API, because what we are trying to do is like we're building the connector by invoking the REST API. So we want HTTP requester connector, because here it's not, it's everything is XML format. You won't able to drag and drop the connector HTTP request or anything. So for that, first we need to invoke the HTTP requester module. So in the sample template you won't get. So you need to add the namespaces of the HTTP. This is the already, you should not change this parameter. So it should be HTTP. So where we'll get this parameter names. So here, if you are interested for other modules also, you can go and develop these things. So I'll give the schema how to get the names parameters, and that is the parameters namespaces that is supported by XML SDK. So this one. So these are the list of uh, connectors already we are using in the flows. You can invoke these connectors and do modifications and your actual logic. So so it should be schemas mule slash this name. It should be in the this directory. So you should not change this direct. So I'm calling the HTTP because I need to invoke that API. So I need HTTP requester connector. So for that, I need to add this namespace HTTP. This namespace should be, I already committed the code. I'll give the link, you can able to see. Rather than copy pasting in the chart, I'll give my GitHub URL, this code you can able to find there. So you need to add this thing. First thing is, this is the primary thing, because we are invoking the API in our connectors. And one more thing, you need to add here also http.xsts you need to call. These two things you need to add it. And third thing is like, you need to add the HTTP requester dependency in our connector, like XML SDK kit. So we can call it a kit. So by adding this dependency and this namespace, so that connector XML code of HTTP requester will be invoked into this SDK. Now we can start working with the module. So property is basically the global property. So property, I will show it here. So how, like, you will understand now how, what like daily we are using connectors, how it is built now, you can able to grab it easily. So connect properties. So these are the properties. So whenever you're having any global configurations you need to declare, you need to define here. So I will shown it here, username and password. So anything you add it in the properties, global configuration. So these are the things, username and password. So these are the things, property. So now comes HTTP. This is a normal connect, like now we are using on our flows. This is the connector configurations you can, but for this you need to add this namespace and dependency need to be add. So this requester config, v1 host name is already given by the mod, this people. I'll share this Postman collection also, because Postman collection I downloaded somewhere in the somewhere in the documentation. So I'll download rather than copy pasting here. I'll give this collection there directly. So in this collection you can able to directly work around all those things. Every endpoint is already added in the collection. So with this open API collection and everything. So I'll give this collection, you can able to work it. But the thing is like we are we are we are developing the XML SDK, giving the host name, port HTTPS 443, and operation, because we are doing operation. And one more thing I have done is like I didn't implement the different modules as per endpoint. So maybe it's your choice. So I have implemented small logic here, rather than each endpoint you're I have developed everything in the one connector. So how the logic I'll explain here. So basically this is the parameters. Parameters is basically comes here. This end. This ends is basically the parameters. So left hand side of your module. So this is basically the property. Global properties basically comes in the top level. Properties like parameters will come inside of our operation. So operation is basically our chat GPT, and inside operation we are doing the parameters. So I'm giving the field names. So field names is basically the what are the field names you are declaring in all those things. So here, so whatever trying to do, the field names. So and one more thing, how you are getting these tabs. Tab there is some fields, chartboard there is fields, completion there is fields, edit there is field. How to get this UI screen, how UI, how we need to implement in the connector. So there is one parameter, tab. So you need to mention the tab. So any tab which you are declaring this parameters like chartboard role, I'm declaring with the chat gpt. So they will be under the one group of chat gpt. So chatbot and role. So this is how we can be segregated as a groups. Tab, you need to you need to pass the parameter called tab. And use is basically optional if you want to make it required field. So like you use some connectors, you will get some star signal, because that is a required field. You pass like use equal to required, that is the mandatory field it will ask. Without filling the data, it won't it go forward. So that is the thing, I'll show it here. Here, so here, so these are the mandatory fields, operation, API key. So if you go here in our code, so you'll able to see which are the things you want to make it mandatory. Give type equal to, if you give, if you don't give optional, use equal to optional, by default it's mandatory. So how you use raml required equal to true, same thing here. So if you pass it, if you don't pass it, that field becomes mandatory. So if you want make optional, order is basically you want to based on the like order number. So if you want like this field need to be go up and this field need to be come down, just change the within that tab you can make it mention like 1 2 3. If you pass it like 2, should not change the code and all, just pass 2 and 1. So that UI will come drag down and all this comes will go and up. So this is basically use parameter odd and all those things. And one more thing, there is one concept called catalog in the XML SDK. Catalog basically, you heard about the enum function in RAML. So same thing here. So how these drop downs will come. So if you want to make it like drop downs here in the XML, any connectors, so you need to use the concepts called catalog. So catalog is basically, you need to mention the same. Sure, your root file name should be same. You should not change your custom name. So like here module hyphen hello or your connector hyphen chartgp.xml, you should be exact same of here hyphen catalog.xml. If you make it any other change, it won't work. So make it sure same name exactly match here with the hyphen catalog.xml. In the catalog.xml, first you need to create one more folder like org.mule.extension.smart.schema. Same thing, like this is your custom name, you can mention it anything. So it should be like this. Anything, this is user defined names. It's not like strictly how it follows hyphen catalog. It's like your own names, you can keep it. Here it's string enum function you need to mention. So how the drop downs here coming, you'll able to understand now. So here model, so as we told, because every models here, so you need to declare in one catalog. So this catalog, different catalog names. So format is basically using JSON. So dot dot is basically same thing raml. The controller will go back 2 steps and able to find this folder. If you don't, if you making multiple folders, so make sure this dots. So dots is basically controller will go back 2 steps and find this folder and find under this file they will able to get it. This dots is very important. If you make multiple routes in this extension, so make sure your dots. So one dot is basically it will go 1 step backward. Controller able to find this schema root folder and under this you will able to find this data, this JSON file. And you should be mention application slash JSON plus schema. You can mention XML plus schemas also, but here you need to mention the XML files. So those files you need to declare here. Location is basically that location we need to pass it. And this format name, this is your own custom name, a module type, anything you can pass it. So those names you need to declare here. Type basically, type is basically here a data type. So string, number, whichever number you need to declare in the UI screen. But if you declare catalog scheme, catalog type, so that catalog will be added here in the UI screen of our XML in our Mule connector. So here see, I've added, let's say operation. So operation, you see here how you added in the operation. So in the operation, I've added an operation type. So the an operation type, it will go and controller will go and check the operation type, and same name should be passed there, and it will able to find this location up to step backward, and controller will go and take the operation data, and this data will able to find it here in the catalog format. So this is how it will work, catalogs. Once this, basically you are preparing the your UI screen as per your customization, and once your UI things is ready in our connector, and this is all how we need to make it. Though the parameters tags is closed, once the parameters is tags is closed, then your user interface is done based on your input data, the parameter, everything is done. Now the actual thing is like body. So body is basically what you are trying to do now, because we are invoking the requester connector, because we need to call the open API, open AI API we need to call it. So for that, our current topic what we are trying to do is like we need to invoke our REST HTTP requester connector. So we are already added namespace, we are already added dependency. Now our thing is like we need to call the HTTP requester XML code we need to call it. So this is how we use normal flow code only. It is not different code. Same thing, you go and normally you add a HTTP requester, same code you can copy paste and you can work it here. But what are the things have face some challenges, like anything is as adding effects with hash dollar. It is any data we code, it is not working with double dollar. So I don't know why it is not working. So make sure if you want to implement any data v logics, so make sure single column. So double quotes is not working. And one of the challenge we are facing is like, when you develop any connector, any you import in your flows and works, it will won't show where is the error. So that's the one of the challenge. It will not tell like normal flows how the error, where is the error, and all those things you need to explicitly see and go and troubleshoot. It's very big difficult to find the where is the exact error, because it will tell you, it won't tell the line number where is the error and all those things. So it will simply throw the some it will not throw an error also. The functionality won't work. We need to go and troubleshoot. The debugging also won't work. So make sure everything should be work perfect. So path, basically our endpoint path. So like API path, base path, or something you need to pass. So and one more thing, so you are passing some input data from here. So how to take the data to your parameters, like so in SDK world, in a custom like connector world, everything will be saved as a variable. Now what you are trying to see here, UI screen, you are entering some value from the user interface. You are entering some value here, something value. So that value you are passing from this parameter, so those value will be saved as a variable in this parameter. One more thing is like, sure to forget, if you want to show any hiding of your password something in the something, you need to pass this parameter. It's like password token for this. Anything you anything sensitive things, if you want to hide the input data, you need to make sure password equal true. If you make it that keyword, so it will not visible your data pass. Those things, any sensitive information, pass this parameter password equal to true. And so now I'm calling this thing like a variables I'm just passing here. And where start, why I have implemented the single connector is like, rather than developing different endpoint, I've already saved which endpoint I'm trying to develop, which endpoint I'm going to point out. So these are already different endpoints that is already given by OpenAI. So all these endpoints, so everything is common, v1 everything is common, but the only change is like endpoints. So the logic here what we implemented is like, so here the endpoint I captured from here. So rather than developing different modules operations as a connector, so that endpoint I'm saving from this operation catalog. So which endpoint you are trying to call. So now we know which endpoint like user is pointing from the UI. So like image create or ask ChatGPT or chat boot, everything. So from the HTTP request, you can, based on your like if else condition, if the operation is something like, you can call this one. Else if edits, you can call it. This is a simple logic using the catalog concept. You can decrease our modules. So it's your choice. If you want to make it different modules, you need to add operations, different operations even. But this is a simple logic. It will help you from the UI drop down. So user will click it and it will point to the data endpoint. So edits and all those things. If anything, this is all path like and base path, it will pass it method. And one more thing, if you see your API reference, two models is already there with the get method. So everything is not post, some gets and post. So again the challenge comes here. Method also you need to segregate. If some operation is list models and retrieve model, you pass get. Other models just pass post. And dot method, because it's a text slash plain, should not pass directly method some JSON, because you need to again pass. Mindtap is very important, text slash plain is very important. And some requests are mappings. And body, as we discussed, body is like our payload what we are passing to the API. So which are the API you are passing. Post will pass it. For get method you will pass URI or URI or query parameters. So based on the operation, So our complete connector is basically center point here. So based on our user interface from the catalog, so our logic is all centralized from here with the operation. So based on his operation, I need to pass that body based on the UI entered from the screen. So this already will be saved from the variables, var start model, everything from the user, it will get it. So everything will be saved based on his operation. So once everything, their else if model based on the payloads we need to send. And once the headers if you want to pass normal request headers, you can application slash json and bearer token and var start api, everything is var variables here. Var start api key, where it is coming, it is coming from the top api key. So again it is coming from the user tab. So we are already declared here in the api key. So this is coming from the key here. So if you didn't pass any, tab is general. If you don't pass also, by default it will go to the general tab. This is all about the body. You can go and check the code, you'll understand now, because I've explained everything, right? You'll able to easily grab it. uh, Parameters, headers you can pass it. And once the this requester module is done, then final thing is like output. So output I use it set payload, because if you want to do any operation, so because we need to use payload or set variables here. So set payload and output, because OpenAI will give some different format of output. So I need to like customizing as per our things. I done some data view logic here based on our operation. So everything is, I done some simplification of the, because we don't require all the data is given by OpenAI. So I want to I want to manipulate the output format as a standard format, all the models. So different models will giving different endpoints is giving different output format. So I will done some logic. So which every operation I'm giving the customization and taking into this a universal standard format. So that's it. And output you can declare any, or if you want to declare any data types, any data JSON structures you want to declare, you can you declare in the catalog and mention that one. So it will like validate that structure and it will be out of that connector. So this is all the things what we trying to do. So once this is ready, so the next part is like we need to export to the exchange. So because what you're trying to develop is fine, but you need to export the exchange. So the thing is like change your group id with your organization id. This organization id will able to find in the access management. And next is like you add it this distribution manager. I've committed the code in the github, given the steps. So you go and change your organization id, this place and top level. These three things you need to add it. This is already added in the code. So just pass your organization id. So once you change these changes, so the next step is like go and build our command. If everything is fine, it will able to be deploy. So steps equal to true. So if everything equal to see, one thing is the versions. So if you do any changes, if you want to upgrade the any code changes everything, go and change the version of this one. So like 4.0.4 for next version 4.0.4. So those versions like your old versions is also will be saved in the exchange, rather than deleting the code everything and upgrading one more time. Make it versionizing. So if you have anything old version, it will able to save in the exchange maven. So it will be saved. So now, so it will download all those things, all this connector connector. So build is success. So and one more thing, I just forgot it. So if you want to add any icons to your connector, so make sure this is the primary thing. So in your connector, so that should be in our icons. So icon means it will be in the root folder, and you should be same icon name. You should not change the icon format, and it should be icon.svg. It will not allow as JPEG and PNG format. It will allow only SVG. SVG is scalable vector graphic format. So, and the size is it should be minimal size. So what is the trick? I have downloaded the connectors from the online like online conversions from JPEG to some conversion tool. I tried it, because if you give big size it won't work. So the trick I have tried here is like just go and take this image, what are the image you are on to, like add to the format diagram, because online tools when I convert it, it is not working the icons, so it is getting, I think there is uh, I think some 100 into 100 for it is expecting. So just do it and just simple save as export as SVG. SVG is like you need to add SVG as icon.svg, should not change, and this icon should be there in the POM fruit file. So it should be there in this here. And icon.svg. So once it is ready, and you will able to find it here in our exchange, the connector will be published to your exchange with your icons and everything. Code is ready. Then the thing is like you need to copy your group ID, artifact ID, and version ID, and you can directly import it from the things, or you can able to drop it from here. You can already add it, just wait. So from your organization, the connector will be published. If you make any other changes, older versions will be, it will automatically update. So this connector, this is all UI screen, all those things. So let back to the demo part now. So I'm just all already done. This code is already committed. This connector code is already there. There running. Everything completion, everything how the how chartboard operations, everything in single connector. So once it is running, so now I'm trying to, first thing I'm trying to do with the ask chat gpt, and API key, as I already told, in the profile you need to pass it, and model. So text come Davinci 003 is supported by this ask chart completion, and tokens you need to pass how many, because once you pass big tokens it will give a lot of data, and what we discuss in the number. If you because this is optional field, I didn't declare here. If you want it, you can make it in the parameters. So payload, where is passing the payload? Completion tab payload dot chart gpt. Here I'm asking what is the temperature of San Francisco. So it's giving, rather than using UI, this same API is giving. This is what we done in the body format of things. So you can ask anything. So chart boot. So there is difference between ask chart GPT and chart. So user is basically, so it will act as a thread. Thread means, so I'll show the example, you'll understand. So here, so just you ask this one, I'll explain what is the thing, where it is played. So if you ask it where it is played, it won't understand the A cannot understand. You get it, see. So it will not, I'm sorry, I cannot answer this comment, because it is already running in the thread, because you are asking who won the World Series in 2020. The Los Angeles is giving some output, but where it is played, because its thread is not there. So for the chart format, so these are the things you are seeing there in the 1 minute. I'll add it here. These are the UI you are using here in the this application. So this application is running based on the chat gpt mode, this model, this is using this endpoint. So because 1 minute, uh, so now you'll able to get this where it is played, because it is already saving the thread. So like accumulation, like developer need to implement, if you want to develop any AI chatbot in your organization help desk, so this thread should be run. So because this data will not be saved by OpenAI, you need to accumulate that like area of thread by user prompts until unless the thread is completed. So that's the difference between chatbot and the create completion. Create completion is just you ask it, you will get it. Chatbot is basically it will run the thread. So you are asking, see, your help help us, and you next thing is like you are asking some question, it is giving some answer, and so until you ask some other random question, it is pointing to first question, it will able to get, because this is already. Then make sure if tokens is also important, because you need to see the tokens. So you are passing this thread, so it will prompt the your tokens. So this is all the operations I committed the code. And images, if you want to get the images, so images are already added here. Go it and check it, edit image. So image is supported by two formats, base64 and URL. So if you want to download base64, again, this everything you are seeing here drop down is catalogs there. So and this is the data I'm inputting giving here, and the operation I'm passing here. For the edits I'm passing here. So edit, so based on that edit endpoint, so just I'm giving Indian flag. So it, if you want to make it URL format, it will able to. And what I've done is like, after chat GPT, it's downloading, and I'm doing that base64 decode and saying in the some file. So I'll able to show it. So you can save it in our local file. So image files, so here, so I've downloaded the Indian flag. So Indian flag is already there. It any URL. So again, you need to pass it here in the our drop down. So which image format you need to pass it. So whether you need to pass it as a URL or image URL. If you are passing, and pixel size of already, this is already uh, pixel size is already saved here. So this is already some already defined parameter. You should pass your custom, you should not pass it. And if you done it, edit image URL, I'm passing USA flag. So based on that, it will give the, this is all coming from our connector logic. So what we are trying to do is like dynamic logic we are implemented. So we are added where we are coming from that thing. You go and check it. So maybe some timeouts will come, so based on your API endpoint. So next thing is like, this is the, you are able to get it. So you are able to download the flag, PS flag. So those things, and some endpoints. So embeddings I told, right, embeddings is basically used for the machine learning techniques. So it will convert the text into the some vector image format. So these are all the things. And moderation is like basically, it will tell you the what is the like what is the harmful, like what is the word type, because I want to kill him, this is a harmful word. So it will tell you the violence, and it will give the score also, what type of word. If you based on a requirement, we need to use this endpoint. So I want to kill, because this is giving, is coming the category of violence. So it will give, and it will give the scores also. So based on your moderations. And edits, if you want to, what if you want to make any edits, so you can make it. I think this is not working from yesterday, from the API is down from their side. So all these things is coming from the user and UI drop down from our things. So now the thing is like, now use case is like, I want to integrate this thing to Slack. So this connector I want to integrate to Slack, some use case. So the connector we build, it's fine, everything is fine. So now the thing is like, you want to add it to your Slack. So what is the thing you need to do? So go and integrate the Slack API. So these are the Slack APIs you will go. So go and type it. So like Slack, we need to integrate. So how to do it? Just I'm going the steps how to do it. Create an API app from scratch. Give whatever the name you want to give. It's like Chart GPT. So like we are connecting the Slack with our Mule project using some intermediate connected app. So which workspace? My workspace, my connector workspace I'm using. So just workspace, you can develop your thing. It will create client ID and client secret. So this you save it in your notepad. So client ID and client secret, just save it. And you can add your icons here. Whichever icons you can add it for the. Once this is ready, so go to your permissions. Once you add, and what are the add Slack here, and you need to add it Slack consumer key, consumer secret. So that's what client ID and client secret you need to pass it. This is already coming from the connector configuration. And scopes is basically using this connected app, which are the like permissions you are giving to the Slack channel, Slack account using our Mule. When you're trying to connect with the Mule through Slack, so which are the read permission, because this is acting as a authorization server in between our Slack channel to the outside world. Rather than giving username and password, we are connecting through auth authentication, with auth and authentication using connected mode. So redirect URL we need to keep it where it will get it. So redirect URL, you need to pass it this redirect URL. Redirect URL is basically callback URL, because the token, how it is coming is like the callback URL, they're giving some auth token. The token is saving here in the object store. So that the thing. So the callback URL need to pass it here. So and this need to be added here. Once you add it, and scopes need to be added. So which are the scopes? I'm giving some channels history, because basically we need right scope chart, right? Because I need to connect to the Slack using our outside world, using our ChatGPT connector. So channels, anything, channels read or something, which are scopes you can, but main thing is like chart right is the basic thing. We need to write it, we need to add it. So that's it. Once you add it, and you need to add your callback URL, because we are using localhost stage. And one more thing, it's not supported by HTTPS, you need to pass it. I've added some key store keys and everything. Just configure the TLS SSL here using our we need to enable the configuration in the listener side. So in the listener, HTTP is not supported. HTTPS you need to pass it. You need to pass some key store, trust store, sample self sign certificates, you need to pass it. Once you added this configuration, because we are already running this thing, so I'll show this thing. So I'll create one channel here. You can create channel. Once the channel is added, this boot will be added, and once you run this thing. So just I'm running here. Okay, here authorization. So it will ask you whether I need to add this channel to your Slack. Will ask you, because this project is already running. The first thing is it's will ask. So this is like what. So rather than giving username and password, you are giving some permissions, like write permission using this connected mode. So now this project, because this is already deployed, is asking so whether I need allow. So once you allow, it will get some token. Those token will be saved in our OAuth module. Now you need to add it. This chatbot is already added here through MuleSoft project. So now I need to add this channel. This channel I need to add it using at the rate. You need to add this chatbot. So I already added. So now I'm typing here. So now this channel is actively listening to that particular this channel chatbot. chat GPT mule, and using this channel ID. Where you will get this channel ID? Channel ID will be getted here, channel ID. So I'm passing the property file. This channel is reading from this chat GPT mule, and I'm writing on this temperature. So here, so how it is getting? So it is reading the message from the Slack from this particular channel ID, and this thing is going to ChatGPT connector using the prompt, ask ChatGPT using the complaints, and it is giving some message by the ChatGPT, and it is sending to the that channel, because once you get the response you need to send the message to the channel. Again, I'm passing the channel, that particular channel name. And one more thing, the challenge here is you should stop the profiles, user profiles to this chat gpt, because if you don't stop it, like if you don't pass, you don't stop it, you don't segregate the user profile and chat gpt profile, because it will act as a user here. So if you don't add this one if else condition, so it will run in the infinite loop, because again this answer will go to the chat gpt, and again the sending it will the message, it will do in the infinite mode. What we need to do is, like, we need to send only the user profile, not equal to app name. App name is basically like your chart app. So only user profiles need you to send to the chat gpt. When anything answer is coming by the, again it will be read to the new message. Again, if you send it, it will be run in the infinite node. So that's why you need to add the condition here: stop chat gpt answers again sending to the channel, only users which are answering the. So if you want to do data view program, you can add it, data view of factorial in use of. So it will be read it. So it will be read it from the here, send to chat gpt and giving send, and it's sending to the message here. So user like profile from the chart, you need to stop it. It's not equal to means only user profiles will be sent to the chat gpt. Anything if you're coming with the chat gpt, will go to the else, the thread will be reg. So only users will be active. Yep, that's it from my side. Any questions? And yep, any questions you can just 5 minutes. So I'll share my GitHub code, whatever things stuff I've done. So check it. Uh, and you need any ideas, anything, just any code, any errors you're coming, just feel free to ask me in LinkedIn. I'll help it. So I'll share my GitHub code and the project what I have done here. Uh, this thing, GitHub chat GPT, already published to the code. This is connector code, and I'll show it my GitHub code. Just go and check it. This is the code I have done it, and this is the connector code what we have implemented. So take it, and I've added the nodes here. Just read here. You add it. Go and check the steps. So organization ID and prom, you just replace it and run the command. Once you organize, just add it to your project and work around your stuff. You can build your own ideas and everything. And I'm trying to build a chat gpt 4, because it is in the waitlist mode. API waitlist is real, and chat gpt is like multi-port format. You can pass videos and all those things, like audios and all those things. What we need to do is, like, once the chat gpt 4 is ready, we need to invoke the file connectors, because anything you need to pass it as an input, again we need to go and check the files you need to add it. So like as of now we are passing is a prompt. So in future I think we need to work around the inputs, because we need to pass API input as a audios and all those things. So here we need to invoke again the namespace with the file. So you will able to find these schemas available in the. So first, anything you are trying to develop, just go and is that schema is already available or databases. Do you want to any customization in the connector? If you are ever anything you are trying to implement is unable to achieve in our connector, you can modify implementing that things, and you can implement your custom connectors. So with that same functionality, if you want to add any CFTPs, we were unable to do some limitation challenges, try to invoke this one, and you can modify your own things here. Just you need to add the namespace with mule-ftp, how we added here with the HTTP XML SDK, and this name you need to replace here ftp, and XST should be added here, and add the dependency, and you can work around your own customization. If you this is
Hey, Sai, there's a question from Amit. So where is the Postman collection you mentioned?
okay, fine. I'll can I send it here? I cannot send it, right? Okay, I'll add it in the git repository, because I already saved here. You want it, I can send it. So postman collection, I cannot send it here, right? So
Yeah,
file.
I think it's a little bit big, right?
Mhm. I'll add it. I'll add Git from my own Postman collection and OpenAI collection. In OpenAI collection, this is given by API. You can add organization if you want to do the functionality. Base URL already there. Just go and authorization. You can add your API key, and you can try their collection. Once you're done, you can try it our own collection from our connector. So I'll add two things: OpenAI collection and our custom XML our own collection, Mule collection. And this stuff is already you can connect from here. So just go and follow the steps. If you anything need, just I'll share these things from you guys. So these are some things. So this will act Slack API, how it will work, and all those things. I'll add this. Try to add it. We'll try to add it in our group, San Francisco group. In our this topic, we'll add it this thing. So that's it. You can try it. If anything, just need this is my LinkedIn profile. If you face anything, connector anything, thing just ping me. So we'll help. If you have any ideas, then you can try come up, because Slack you can. If you have any ideas and all those things, we can forward this series with the Chart GPT series. I'll come up with Chart GPT 4. It is not yet released. It is already in the waiting list, API waiting list. Any new ideas, we can implement it. So it's how we integrate the script. Yep.
I will stop the recording for now. I don't see more questions, but we can keep stay in the session. So
Yep.
let me stop it now.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.